Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and the name of this program is Let's Live. And it's a very interesting program this evening. We have two guests, one of whom is remaining off camera, and the other one, and let me start off by saying this is a reflexology program, but this is not like any other reflexology program that I think you may have seen before, because we have a different focus here. And our focus is the spirituality of reflexology, getting ready for the session, what happens during the session, and then after the session. So what I'm going to do is introduce you to my guest, and she's going to speak for a couple of minutes, and then I am going to read from a prepared script that I have written about reflexology. And then when it is over, when I am through reading it, then Arlene will talk to me, and we'll have a very short conversation about some things that she discovered and how a session actually plays out over time. So I'm going to start off by introducing you to a guest that we have had on the show off and on for many, many years, Arlene Ferrieri. So Arlene, will you introduce yourself and start talking about how you prepare to give a reflexology session?
Okay. Well, the first thing I do is I just try to center myself, and that involves probably a little bit of deep breathing, first of all, and then go into a quiet meditation for a few minutes, depending. Sometimes it's a few minutes, sometimes it's a little longer. It just depends on the day. So, and that's how I prepare. In my room, my reflexology room, I usually do a cleansing, like a sage. I'll burn some oils, possibly. Get the atmosphere and the aura of the room into a good space. Also, gentle music also helps me while I'm doing the session to be focused. So when my client comes in, the first thing we do is discuss what's going on, if anything is going on, what she would or he would like me to focus on. And then I always start with giving the client an oil. And all the oils are organic. Today I'm using an oil called Immunity. So what I would do is ask Loren right now if she would like to have some Immunity. And we put it in our palm of our hand. And then we activate it by spread it around, and then you place it wherever you feel comfortable. Sometimes just inhaling is enough. Sometimes you want to put it on a certain part of your body. That is up to the client. So that is generally how I prepare. Get my mind, my body, my spirit in alignment, and that way I can focus and give my full attention to whoever it is I'm working on.
So you are ready to begin now.
I am ready to begin. Yes.
And I am ready to begin reading, and I thank both of you for your participation and your involvement in this program. The essay that I wrote it's part of a series called Hope. And the title is, How Do You Feel About Your Feet? I send you a blessing. Whenever you touch someone, may you show them love. And in your work, may love, mercy, and justice shine forth. May it guide you and protect you. As a reflexologist, whether I heal, teach, write, speak, or douse, my intentions are the same. I want us all to become more conscious of ourselves. It is time to take charge of our healing. When this happens, we can offload things we no longer need. This makes room for changes appropriate for us now. When we discover what's important to us, we learn things about ourselves that we never knew. And we discover things about ourselves that we once knew but forgot. We see some items which we may have felt weren't necessary, and now we know they are. And my job is to help you find your feet. My goal is to allow you to know yourself better. Once you know the truth about your feet, you are aware of your soul, and things fall into place. You may empower yourself to assume responsibility for your healing. A better self-understanding emerges, and you're on a path to deeper consciousness. Feet are essential. They have been crucial since the beginning of our existence. Our feet carry us wherever we need to go. They are part of our lives spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Reflexology has been with us since the beginning of time, when history was shrouded in mists. If you travel to Egypt, you'll find wall paintings illustrating feet dating back to 2399 BCE in the historical physician's tomb in Saqqara. In Nara, Japan, the medicine teacher temple has a stone carving of Buddha's feet dating to 790 AD. In India, the paintings of Vishnu correspond to some reflexology points. Ancient Chinese writings describe pressure points on thumbs and toes. Ayurveda medicine incorporates foot reflexology. When I see your feet, they speak to me. I feel as if I've found a book filled with stories, wanting to be told. Before, during, and after a session, your feet change color, texture, and weight. The lines on your feet shift. Health issues draw attention to your need to seek out and deal with their spiritual causes. When you visit a reflexologist with your health issues, you focus on your spirit. You may also want to experience a half hour of just plain self-care. Or you just may want to bliss out for a few minutes. Whatever the motivation, a reflexology session offers a window into homeostasis, the balance of all body systems. Reflexology is all about self-healing. Your body changes daily and continually changes throughout your activities. Whether sleeping, dancing, or taking out the trash, your body tries to maintain a healthy balance, homeostasis. When you seek a reflexologist, you may be trying to deal with one or more persistent health problems. You seek a solution while saying to yourself, I may have to learn to live with fatigue, or insomnia, or constipation, or headaches. When a person brings a spiritual issue to my table, I go right to the chakras. This is an opportunity to douse them. With chronic disease, the chakras commonly seize up. Spinning a chakra helps balance it. I remove the negative energy, then work the weakest chakra first. Trauma clogs the chakras and turns them gray. A reflexology session does several things for a client. It offers sleep, deep relaxation, regular bowel movements, instant relief of tired, sore, achy feet, a mild detox, homeostasis, increased circulation, and relaxed tension. Conflicting information constantly bombards us with updates about our health. What's good, what's bad. The bottom line is we're complex beings. Good health involves the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. We heal 5 different ways. Healing is physical, symbolic, mythical, energetic, and spiritual. Physical healing is undeniable. Your body fights disease by overcoming symptoms, boosting your body systems, and changing your DNA. When a client comes to me in pain, we have a conversation about the situation. This is symbolic healing in action, and I ask questions. How long have you had this pain, and when did it begin? Is it constant or intermittent? And what makes it better, and what makes it worse? And where does it hurt? And what does this pain feel like? What does it look like? What color is this pain? Can you describe the sound of this pain? And how does it smell? What is your pain's size and shape? What other symptoms go with this pain? Once the sound is identified, I invite the person to make a chant using this sound. Symbolic healing works through your words. Talking with a psychiatrist or psychotherapist is symbolic healing. Speaking with a physical therapist about your shoulder pain, for example, is symbolic. Describing your health issues with a physician is symbolic. Guided meditation is symbolic healing in action. Energetic healing does not rely on words. It reveals itself in massage, reflexology, Reiki, chakra healing, or body work. Blended healing happens when chiropractors, physical therapists, and physicians work on your symbolic level during consultations. Illness is real and accidents happen. Medicine and healing create meaning. Recent global events have spread uncertainty, insecurity, and grief. How we approach our health and wellness is forever changed. It's up to us now to keep ourselves and our loved ones well. At some point, you may choose a reflexologist or other healer, and not all healers and practitioners are alike. A 9-word vocabulary clarifies things for you and may help. Reflexologists don't administer anything. We read feet and offer sessions. We have provided non-invasive sessions to our clients the world over for ages and ages. Advise. Reflexologists accompany client partners in their healing path, and this work supports homeostasis. Cure. Reflexologists offer our services and empower client partners to control their health as they heal and embrace wellness. Diagnose. Reflexologists do not diagnose. Physicians diagnose. A diagnosis is essential because it's much easier to overcome a health issue if it has a name. Dispense. We dispense nothing beyond the sessions we offer. Examine. Reflexologists read feet, hands, or ears. We notice the location of our findings. We work feet, hands, or ears to facilitate healing and homeostasis. Patient. Physicians and nurses have patients. Reflexologists have clients or client partners. Prescribe. Prescriptions are allopathic tools. Reflexologists do not prescribe. We rely on our hands and hearts to tell us what we find, to encourage healing and wellness, to facilitate homeostasis. Recommend. Instead, we work feet. We focus on healing. And what is suffering about? Why are we going through this, and what is the purpose? Getting well is sometimes very tough. These are the spiritual questions. Do you want to be well if getting well hurts? Do you want to be well if it separates you from your old identity? Do you want to be well more than you stay the same? A good model for healing involves 4 steps. Several years ago, I injured my shoulder. First, I met with my healthcare provider for a diagnosis and whatever else I needed. This was important. A diagnosis helps you overcome your obstacles. An old saying goes like this: it's easier to slay the dragon once you know its name. I overworked a muscle in my right upper arm. I removed the environmental cause of the problem by not lifting anything. Next, I set about correcting my painful muscle situation. I scheduled 8 physical therapy sessions and went twice weekly for 4 weeks, where I received therapeutic exercises, massage, ultrasound, and heat treatments. I planned foot reflexology sessions to correspond with weekly physical therapy appointments. I arranged for these sessions to be scheduled weekly within 24 hours of each physical therapy appointment. The reflexologist used her sensory skills to work my feet. She found crystals, resistance, hollows, and mushy tissues. Her findings gave even more clues. She found crystals that varied from tiny salt crystal size to broken glass size to feeling like beans. Some places on my feet felt as hard as rocks. Others felt spongy. Meanwhile, I experienced tenderness, shooting pains, throbbing. My feet were sore, achy, bruised, and tired. I also felt incredible grounding and relaxation. I slipped into a deep sleep-like state during each session. And finally, taking steps to keep the situation from happening again, I learned the proper way to lift 40-pound boxes. More than anything, I followed my truth. I had a conversion when I understood the changes I had to make and the things I had to do to be pain-free and function well again. I realized something. As hard as we try to stay healthy, sooner or later, we all get sick. Acute illnesses can be cured, and chronic illnesses are another thing entirely. We live with chronic illnesses. They have spiritual implications and overlays. The role of the mind, the state of your health, and your spirituality connect you to what happens in your life, how you feel and think about these things, and what happens in your body. These 3 things are the stress created by your situation. Stress is your response to an event and how you perceive it, not what happened. We each have a spiritual core needing encouragement, support, and protection. Your inner core helps you travel through life with the fewest glitches possible. When guidance, nourishment, and security are deficient in some way, you risk losing self-confidence. Give yourself a boost. Life is easier with a solid inner core. Begin by thinking positively. Before you even get out of bed each day, ask yourself, what makes me happy? How can I be happy today? Only you can make yourself happy. And you don't depend on how much money you make. Your happiness doesn't depend on how much education you have or how tall you are. Happiness depends on your inner self. Listen to your body. When you listen, your body will tell you what you need. It will tell you what to keep, what to avoid, what to give away, and what to leave behind. When you understand what your body says, you have a chance to heal life. You can change your life if that is what you want. Tune into your body several times a day. Do you have pain anywhere? Is your spine aligned? What is your energy level right this moment? Are you hungry, thirsty, tired, or joyful? Good health is a priority. When you value your good health, you love yourself. You believe you're a valuable person. You expect yourself to be in excellent health. Your thinking can change. Your life can unstick itself. You can claim your wellness. Your emotional self is a best friend. Your feelings are an opportunity. You can never expand or grow until you own up to the feelings your body sends your way. They help you release pain, extra weight, sorrow, grief, and fear. When you remove some of these painful things, you can experience joyful health, peace, and grounding. You'll find room in your soul for a better quality of life. Connect with your community. Volunteer or join a local group such as knitting or hiking. Get a part-time job. Read a local paper. Use your library. Work at a local food pantry. And join a church or synagogue. Teach someone to read. Include exercise of some kind every day. In 1513, Ponce de Leon discovered the Fountain of Youth in what is now St. Augustine, Florida. The Fountain of Youth still exists and keeps people everywhere healthy and fit. There is at least one branch of it in your neighborhood. It's located on a sidewalk or roadside where you can walk every day. If that branch is not convenient, another nearby branch is in a local fitness center, and you'll be much healthier when you visit your favorite branch regularly. Reflexology and Reiki. Commit to a session of reflexology, Reiki, or other nourishing body work every week. It doesn't matter whether you have a health issue or whether you just want to get on a table and bliss out. What's essential is the self-care that you receive. Review your situation. This last year was stressful for all of us. Frankly, I do not know even one person who escaped grief this past year. Now might be a good time to write about important moments in your life. You don't have to focus on what happened in your life. Focus instead on what you did about what happened to you. Write short stories, essays, poems, keep a journal. Whatever you choose, if you need help, you may get it at your library. Learn Reiki therapy. Reiki is one of the oldest healing modalities on our planet. When you take a Reiki class, you learn a healing tool to positively impact your life. Reiki is adaptable to many different situations. It is easy to learn and use. We all need more Reiki. Every time I hear about a new class forming or a Reiki circle happening, I rejoice. Get creative. The fun thing about creativity is that it can be anything you want it to be. When you get creative, you relax, you laugh, you explore, you inspire and imagine. You add more color to your life. Creativity is an empowering tool. In the midst of mourning and grieving, creativity can help you improve your situation, those around you, and yourself. Lifestyle changes can be for the better. Developing a working relationship with your healthcare professional can have encouraging fallout. You may become more aware of your body and how it works. You have a basic plan for conquering and preventing disease when you combine quality sleep with healthy eating and physical activity. I have written much about these things in my blog posts and my books. I speak about these things on my YouTube posts. You can find the posts under Let's Live with Thurman Greco or Take This Bread with Thurman Greco. When we are in the presence of someone suffering for something that we can do nothing about, the first reaction is to run away as fast as possible. It's frightening to be around suffering. Feeling helpless in the face of anguish and pain is complex. A healing community. As part of a healing community, we learn to be with those suffering even when we feel helpless. Make no mistake, we are not helpless. We offer hope for one another as we keep the faith that God or the universe, or whatever word you want to use, is working even when we can't see how. To be part of a healing community means that we are not alone. That makes all the difference. When you are part of a healing community, you can change. You can experience your life differently, made to feel whole, even as your physical body falls apart. Touch can heal you from fear, even when you remain sick. Healing is about creating meaning. Ask yourself, what is suffering for anyway? Why am I going through this? What is the purpose? Getting well is sometimes very tough. Do you want to be well if sometimes getting well hurts? Do you want to be well if it separates you from your old self? Do you want to be well more than you stay the same? This is a call to change. Since ancient times, healers and physicians have worked with patients to achieve a cure, a restoration. Healing takes many forms: physical, mythical, symbolic, and energetic. But what happens when there are no options? When a person is diagnosed with a potentially life-threatening illness, we must try to make some sense of the days and months left. Healing appears in many forms: antibiotics, chemotherapy, herbs, and morphine. Reiki, guided meditations, favorite music, and listening are appropriate. Whatever form healing takes, flexibility is essential. Any number of situations may arise. A nurse may arrive to do routine and necessary care. A family mentor may enter. Let the process unfold in whatever way it happens. In the end, we offer a smile, an ear, a touch, an embrace. Sometimes it helps to remind ourselves that even though we're grieving, death is about the person who is dying. The rest of us are there to help say goodbye, do the laundry, and serve a cup of tea to someone who needs it. And finally, our job is to let the person go. Miss Arlene, how was your session?
My session was wonderful. What I try to do is I just try to let my hands go to wherever they want to go. And then I find where I should be. So with Loren, I was very focused on her toes. They're red. Her toes are red. And I was trying to work them where I could see now that they are less red than they were before. So the whole session was really on her toes. And that was it.
I have a couple of things to say. One is what you do. That's a very rare thing, because a lot of people who teach, and schools that teach all kinds of body work and all kinds of healing, they get involved in, well, you do this and you do this and you do this.
Right.
And when you get down to it, healing is just letting your hands go.
That's it.
And that's a hard thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
because you're letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really difficult thing to do. But at the same time, that's where you're going to do your best work.
Right, because they know what to do. And I just go along for the ride.
And often when you do work toes, it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
Because you run across hammer toes, and that's the toes that are bent.
Yes.
And those are the things that need the attention.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's lovely. So after you have finished your session, what are some things that you have to do before you finally let the client get off the chair and out of the room and into the car and off they go?
Well, of course we discuss the session. If she has any questions or she's noticed something during the set, whatever comes up for her, we discuss it and we talk about it. And then always, there is no jumping off the table. You have to really just sort of stay on the table as long as necessary to absorb everything and to get yourself back into reality almost, because lots of times you're just off somewhere, whether you're sleeping or you're just in a deep meditation, and you just have to let that settle into your body, and then when they're ready to get off, slowly off the table. Of course, hydration is very important. To drink some water, because you're releasing a lot of stuff is coming out, so you want to replace all that. And usually they walk away with a smile on their face and make another appointment.
Yeah, that's true. I know. Are you ever afraid that she's going to get in the car before she's ready?
No, usually
have enough time.
Yeah, we usually make sure that they can.
That's one of the luxuries of going to you as opposed to going to a spa, because in a spa you work at a 50-minute hour.
Right.
Person's got to get up because then somebody else has got to come in and change prepare the room again.
Right.
And there's somebody sitting in the waiting room that's waiting. So that's a true luxury and very, very healing.
Yeah, it's much more relaxed. Like you say, there's no rushing out. Sometimes I have had sessions where it was more than an hour, and some a little bit less. It depends. Usually it's an hour, I would say. But yeah, never getting up and rushing out. And sometimes they fall asleep and I let them sleep for as long as they need to. So she's shaking her head. Yes.
I know. I had a student many years ago who developed a practice where she went to the person's home and they got on the sofa or in the bed or whatever, and then she sat at the end in a stool, and then at the end of the session she very quietly picked up her check and walked out the door, and they never, because that was part of it. And I know that this letting go and this healing that takes place is a kind of a universal thing. I do yoga, and my yoga teacher will do certain things, and I realize when she does it, I'm moving this muscle, and all of a sudden I realize I'm drifting off, and what's happening is the toxins and things are working.
That's right.
It's a physical response,
Yes,
as well as spiritual, And you don't think so much of yoga in that process, but when the person needs to heal, the person heals.
that's right.
And
what better way to heal than with reflexology,
Right.
yoga, Reiki?
No, I'm totally, well, of course, I'm totally convinced about reflexology and Reiki. Do you have any questions?
No. Do you have any questions, Lauren?
When we were speaking about the spirituality of the release, is there another way to express it that gives it a little bit more grounding? I understand about the emotional release, but the spiritual is something I'd like a little clarity, if that's possible.
That's quite often the emotion and the spirituality come together. And the spirituality, if it's spiritual, it's physical, you feel it. And if it's emotional, you feel an emotional response. They are two different things, but very similar. That's a very good question. I need to explain that further in future blog posts, because they are very different, but they are similar in taste. Well, do we have any others? Well, I want to thank both of you for this wonderful, wonderful session. We could not have had this without the participation of you two lovely ladies.
Well, thank you, Thurman, for doing this.
It's my pleasure.